Hey, hi, all. Welcome back to BRR Knowledge Center. Now, in this session, we'll see, let and constant keywords as part of variables. In the previous session, we have seen variables like, what is variable and how many ways we have in TypeScript to declare a variable in TypeScript. And also, as part of declaring a variable, as I told you, like we have three keywords like var, let, and constant keywords, and we have discussed about var, so which is a global declaration, right? That means if a variable is declared with var keyword, right, var declarations are accessible anywhere within their containing module, right? Like functionally or instead of if statements or instead of any loop statements, correct? So that's the reason I'm saying var declarations are accessible anywhere within their containing module, function, global scope, or namespace. Some people call this var scoping or function scoping. Okay. Now we'll see the let keyword here. Okay. So what is this let keyword doing it in TypeScript? Okay. So the let keyword is similar to the var keyword. The var declarations has some problems in solving programs. So especially the ES6 introduced let keyword to declare a variable in TypeScript. And even you can use same let keyword in JavaScript as well, because let keyword defines the type safety. Basically, TypeScript is uh, a pure type safety, hence we have to go for using let keyword. The select keyword has some restrictions in scoping in comparison of the var keyword. So the let keyword can enhance our code readability and decreases the chance of a programming error. Okay, so let keyword is similar to the var keyword. Okay, so as var keyword has some problems in solving programs, right? So TypeScript recommends to use let keyword. Okay, so the let keyword has some restrictions. The let keyword has some restrictions in scope, scoping in comparison. The var keyword. Okay, so the syntax of defining this variable using let keyword is, right. For var, I think we can directly say that, right, name string equal to some BNR. When it comes to let name, I think all the syntax is same. Only thing is they're just changing the left hand side keyboard. Okay, make sure these are small case. Okay, so the key difference between var and let is not in the syntax, but it differs in the semantics. The variables declared with the let keyword are scoped to the nearest enclosing block, which can be smaller than a function block. Okay, the key difference between var and let is not in the syntax. Okay, but it differs in the semantics. So this let keyword are scope to the nearest enclosing block, which can be smaller than function block. Okay, when the variable is declared using let keyword, it uses block scoping. Unlike variable declared using var keyword, whose scope leak out to their containing function, a blocked scope variable cannot be visible outside of its containing block. Okay, so when variable is declared with let keyword, it uses blocking scope. Unlike variable declared using var keyword whose scope, right, leak out to their containing function. So, for example, I'll explain in this Visual Studio Coder. So let me try to remove this and try to write function f of, I'm just passing some variable input of type boolean. Okay. And instead of that, I'm just declaring, right, var x equal to 100. If input, whatever you're passing is true, right, let y equal to y plus 1. Okay. Return y equal to y equal to x plus 1. So, and after closing of this if statement, again, I'm just returning y. It definitely throw error because you define inside of this if, okay? Because the scope is inside of this particular immediate closing bracket. You just define here and immediately use it, but you're trying to use it after this block, it is throwing an exception, okay? We have two local variables x and y actually in this function. Scope of x is limited to the body of the function, while the scope of y is limited to the containing if statement. Okay. So the variables declared in try catch, or sorry, on the block function, right, using let is going to be, right, have scope till before the immediate closing of right block. Okay. So this is something we have to make sure when you're using let keyword. If you use like, a var keyword, right, which is going to have a global scope. Okay. So another example, if you want to, you know, talk about this let keyword, right? So let A is right 10, right? And when I reassign a value, it throws exception because it gives error. You can't redeclare A in the same scope. Okay. Uh, but using right var, you can define it in different scopes. Okay. So the purpose of let keyword is just defining right scope inside of block. Okay. And as part of declaring a variables, right, we have come up with a word called hoisting. What is hoisting? Hoisting is a mechanism of JavaScript, right? So variables and functions declarations are moved to the top of their enclosing scope before code execution. Okay. So that is what enclosing, hoisting. Hoisting is nothing but declarations. We are going to do it in top of your functions. Okay. So anyway, this let keyword is basically giving problem here because you're right not defining inside of anything. Okay. So if you want to me explain one more example, like I'm going to write another function. Okay. So let me tell you about in hoisting another example. So function get of x. This is my function, right? And inside of that, I'm just printing my x, which is good. And again, I declare a variable called a and assign x value. And then I'm printing a value, which is good. After closing off this function, I'm just calling as something like this, which is absolutely fine. So when I'm calling this function, it is coming here, okay? And it is printing 4, and again it is printing 4. When I say a here, right, it is going to print this a as undefined because a is not a declared, right, before to this print statement, right, definitely you will get undefined and 4 value, correct? So the output is undefined and 4. Got it? So if you define the variable before to this print statement, right, you will get the same value, correct? That means if you just move before to this, right, it will print 4 and 4. Okay, that's the reason we need to define the variables, right, on top of your program, which like a printing or any logics you are going to use or apply on the variables. That is what hoisting. Hoisting is nothing but moving on declarations on top of the function. Okay, so this is what we're talking about here. Let keyword. Now next keyword is constant. What is this constant keyword? We basically use it and how it works. So constant declarations is used to declare, right, a permanent value. It is used to declare, right, permanent permanent value which cannot be changed later. So once you declare a variable with constant, you cannot change. It has a fixed value. The constant declarations follow the same scoping rules as let declarations are having it. Okay. For example, so when I say like a function constant demo, this is my function. Inside of this function, what I'm going to do is I'm just saying const, this is the variable I'm just defining as 10. Console dot log of, right, x, which will print the value. But if you want to, right, change the value, it won't accept. Want to change the value, it won't accept. That's what the problem basically you are having it with this constant variable. So I'll explain this in Visual Studio Coder for more understanding. Just opening here. So constant demo, right? Inside of this constant x equal to 10 console dot log of x, which is good. Now I declare const x equal to again 20, which is going to throw you exception because it's already defined, right? So identifier var has already been declared, right? Sorry, already x has been already defined, and please make sure, right, the variable or identifier name should be corrected. Let me try this. I'm going to command prompt and tsc the constant demo, right? Sorry, this I'm creating the same variable. Okay, variable name. Yes, you can see here, right? You cannot redeclare block scope variable x because you have declared already in the constant, and again same variable you should not use it. So that's the reason it is throwing you exception. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to use other variable in this case, which does not give any problem. So now if you run this, it won't give any problem. It simply executes, and you can even execute this and you just get the value. Oops, what's happening? Save this. I don't know. I have saved this. Constant x console.log. So somewhere we have to call this function, right? Let me compile this. Let me execute this. Now you see 1020. So here, printing this, we are trying to change this value, right? What it will do is it will throw you exception because you define the variable as constant and you are trying to modify this. When you go and compile this, you will get the problem here because the constant variable won't accept, right? The modification to the value. Okay. You must make sure this has to be defined with some other var or let so that it won't give any problem, right? Now you see a value 10, 10 plus 20, right? 10 plus 10, 20. But 10 is printed, 20 is printed, 10 plus 10, 20 is printed. Okay. This is all about, constant keyword. Okay. I hope you understood the scope of let and constant and var keywords as part of variable declaration TypeScript. Okay. Thanks for listening to this video and please subscribe this channel for more videos. Thank you.